is littered with failing grades.
State of Tobacco Control found that states and federal government's efforts in 2019 failed to protect the public health.
The association's Erica Sward. The report says 20 years of progress combating tobacco use is now endangered by what it calls the dizzying rise in e-cigarette use among teens, something it says the federal government has done little or nothing to stop. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
A private group reports a nearly 5% plunge in the number of buyers signing contracts to buy homes in December. Experts say home prices are rising faster than incomes. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Here is some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or if you sign up for a plan that you're just not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called Medi-Share. It's the affordable alternative to health insurance. And it's worked beautifully for 25 years. They have more than 400,000 members now around the country. Medi-Share is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry, and over the years, members have shared over $3 billion of each other's medical bills, so they could help share your needs too. And best of all, you could save a lot of money with Medi-Share. The typical savings for a family is about $500 a month. Your savings could be more or less, but think about what you could do with that extra money every month. You're not stuck with a high-cost health plan. You can join Medi-Share anytime, so call them today and check it out. Here's the number to find out more, and there's no pressure. They are super easy to talk to. Call 866-88-BIBLE. That's 866-88-BIBLE. 866-88-BIBLE.
Tipping Point with Zach Yenser is a paid program. The views expressed are not necessarily the views of KVOI or any organization the host is affiliated with.
Good morning, Tucson, and welcome to Tipping Point on Hump Day, Wednesday, January 29th. We made it, Tucson. We made it together. Welcome in. I'm your host, Zach Yenser. Every day, 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning, we do in-depth news and discussion about the people, ideas, and issues shaping Tucson's future. So thank you for joining in. We have a fun show for you, and this is a show that you might want to check out our YouTube feed for, our live YouTube feed. And I'm just going to give you that right off the top. Go ahead and search 1030 The Voice on YouTube or your YouTube app, and select the live feed, Tipping Point, Tech and Tacos. And with that, I'm excited to debut today a new monthly segment of the show, Tech and Tacos. You know, on the show, I like to say that we are a town, that Tucson's a town that likes to talk about its tacos and trails more than its tech and talent. And we've got a lot of tech and a lot of talent in this town that we just don't talk about. And so with the help of my good friend Aaron Gopp, we have brought together a great monthly show where it's a little cheeky, but its reality is that I think in Tucson we can have both. We can have great tech and talent and great tacos and trails. I just think we need to talk about it all a lot more in more balance. So our new monthly segment, Tech and Tacos, where we'll talk to a high growth tech-enabled or tech startup in our community, and we'll do it over a few good tacos. How about that? 1030 The Voice, Tipping Point with Zach Yenser. So you're welcome to tune in and watch us chow down here on some good tacos. I want to introduce my co-host for these hours and our taco bringer for today, Aaron Gopp. Aaron, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and introduce Stay Naked Kitchen.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, Zach. I'm Aaron Gopp, a local Tucson native, U of A grad, and startup nerd, self-proclaimed startup nerd.
No, we all call you that too.
Yeah, right. No, widely proclaimed.
Widely proclaimed.
And with us, we've got Skylar and Corey. These are the co-founders of Stay Naked Kitchen. We were introduced to Stay Naked Kitchen about a year ago now, as a matter of fact, as one of the early attendees of the Founder Institute, which is a local startup accelerator that originated out of Silicon Valley. But we introduced it last year, and Skylar and Corey were actually part of that first cohort. They have since gone on to do some really great things so far, but they are a really great example of a local company that has their sight set on some really, really big goals.
Very cool. And Aaron, let you introduce kind of the combo goal that we have. You know, I like to say, you know, the University of Arizona has been a part of every space mission since Apollo. We have the third largest tech park in North America, not just the country, North America. We're a space tech hub. We're a health tech hub. We are a growing tech period hub. Nobody knows about it. And so as I was cooking up this idea, you called me and said, Zach, what would you think about a monthly segment where we talk to a high growth company, a high growth team right here in Tucson called Tucson Home? We figure out why they're here, what's good for them here and what the gaps are, and look at that growth trajectory. How do we scale that across our community? Is that the kind of the idea you approached us about, and now we're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we are really a supportive community, and we talk a lot about entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship is such a broad spectrum, right? It's everything from the lemonade stand to SpaceX. And so, you know, the idea was we talk a lot about the companies, the restaurants, a lot of the really local flavor, which is amazing, but really talking about that high scale, you know, sometimes it feels like a bad word, the unicorns, right? The venture scale. You know, people see that at peak capitalism, and it doesn't have to be. And what we want to do is highlight some of these founders that are doing some really great things, and they're going to be huge, but they're going to do it the right way. They're serving a very impactful purpose. They're doing it authentic to Tucson. You know, it doesn't have to be a bad word. So if we can showcase some of these founders that are doing these amazing things and really shed a light on that high growth kind of model in entrepreneurship, I think it's a good thing for everyone.
Absolutely. And we know that Southern Arizona, and Tucson specifically, the metro has seen 0% job growth in the latest metrics that we can measure, which means a lot of existing businesses added jobs. We're seeing some decent job growth, but we're not seeing we're seeing 0% new business growth. And it's companies like Stay Naked Kitchen and Corey and Skylar that are going to create those new enterprises that create that those net new jobs that grow our economy, hire our people, lay the foundation for great things in Tucson, Southern Arizona. Aaron Gopp, my co-host today, thank you so much for helping us set this up. And you are our taco man as well, so thanks for bringing in the tacos that we are chowing down on. We've got a couple minutes left to this segment just to intro everybody, then we're going to dive in. Let's get over to Corey and Skylar, let you guys introduce yourselves and what Stay Naked Kitchen's all about. We'll just sweep over from Aaron. Go ahead.
Cool. I'm Corey Eccles, co-founder of Stay Naked Kitchen, firefighter in the community for a little over a decade now. Always been in the health and fitness industry, especially nutrition. We noticed there was a gap in the meal prep industry here in Tucson. Skylar and I decided to join forces and fill that gap.
That's awesome. And the other reason I'm glad that our YouTube live feed is up, by the way, you can go to YouTube if you're listening and watch this, is not only can you see the wonderful tacos that we have in front of us, but you can also see the fact that Corey and Skylar are 4 times the body mass size of Aaron and I combined, both of them. So you can see that.
Appreciate that.
You can see what you'll look like if you eat their food, I guess is the is the goal. So let's head over to Skylar. Introduce yourself, and if you don't mind, just give us you're a tech-enabled company. Give us the 30 seconds about that, and we'll dive in a little bit later.
Yeah, so I'm Skylar Golden, co-founder of Stay Naked Kitchen, and it's kind of interesting because we're a tech-enabled company that deals with food. So, you know, we've really, you know, focused on like how to get our customer their meal prep the easiest with like kiosks and gyms, kiosks in our store, a great online platform for ordering. You know, we launched an app. We're still working on that. It had some bugs, but that's really what we've focused on. And then the byproduct is our customer gets food.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we wanted to feature, was not just your app, or not just, you know, like we've had Freefall on. They're an amazing tech company that's working in kind of the stratosphere and in aerospace. We wanted to look at tech companies and tech-enabled companies, and we're kicking off with a tech-enabled. You do your business and you do it through technology, but it's a service, it's a food.
Absolutely.
And I'm assuming that's an innovation in the market in Tucson that's treating you really well. I can't imagine too many other people are doing this.
Yeah. That was our our biggest goal set out. especially with the Founders Institute. We were a food business in Founders Institute, which was primarily technology, entrepreneur boot camp. So here we are, like a green thumb sticking out. But really, like what Skylar was saying, is we're a food business, but we're a technology business first and foremost. And that's the great divide. That's our biggest separator here in Tucson. Is most of the community is kind of lacking in technology. So that's the kind of gap that I was talking about that we're going to fill. How do we get our customers healthy, affordable, convenient food? It's technology, right?
Right.
And that just comes with that comes with having Aaron. I see him as like our mentor, so that's definitely our biggest advantage right now, is that we're so technology heavy that people can't really keep up with us. So that's why we're here, I guess, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tucson, we are just 1/4 of the way through our debut monthly show, Tech and Tacos, where we talk to high growth tech enabled companies right here in Tucson. What does it mean to be a high growth venture scale or unicorn style startup right here in our city? And we have that conversation every month over some wonderful tacos. In Tucson, we like to talk about our tacos and trails more than our tech and talent. I think we need to be talking about our tech and talent more, but I think we can do it while still celebrating our great tacos and amazing trails. So that's what we're doing in studio, tech and tacos, Tucson. It's a beautiful thing. We'll be right back after the break with Corey and Skylar from Stay Naked Kitchen. Aaron got my co-host today. So much more to go. What does it mean to be a high-growth venture scale or unicorn-style startup, period? And in Tucson, we'll get into that right after the break. You're on 1030 The Voice, trusted local news and talk. Tucson, welcome on back into Tipping Point with me, your host, Zach Yenser, here on 1030 The Voice. Our show today is sponsored in part by the Talent Store. And if you're like the guys that I have in the studio today who are running a successful enterprise in Tucson, and so many of you listening are, my hope for you is that 2020 is a year of growth, and that growth may come with a need to grow your team. And I think it should come with a need to grow your team. My suggestion is that you don't try to go that process alone. You want to hire slow, you want to hire well, so you don't have to hire or fire fast. And that's what the Talent Store does. Finding talented professionals has become a serious business with high stakes, says Christy, a local IT services CEO in town. What makes the Talent Store one of the best in the business is the special attention to cultural and functional fit. Devon's candidates were not just somebody, they were the body we needed. Couldn't ask for a better recruiting partner. So whether you're looking for a C-suite executive to match it with your skill set, or a mid-level manager, or just some team members for your new arm of your business or whatever, definitely give Devon a reach out. Email her at info@yourtalentstore.com. Tell her I sent you, and she has a free 15-minute talent consultation that she'll book with you just to get to know you and how she can help. Back to the show. We are in the second segment of our debut episode here on Tipping Point. We'll air it monthly, called Tech and Tacos. Tucson's a Talent likes to talk about its tacos and trails more than its tech and talent, but we've got a lot of all of it here in Tucson. And we want to be a leader in having a conversation that spotlights both. So every month we'll talk to a high growth, unicorn potential, high-level startup in town that is either focused on tech or is tech-enabled, like the one we have in studio with us today, and we'll have that conversation over tacos. And just so you can enjoy the full scope of what we're doing, we also have a live feed today. Go to YouTube, search 1030 The Voice, and watch us chow down on some great local tacos. I told Aaron, got my co-host, if he walked in with Taco Bell, I'd cancel the show. He did not. Go local. So we got some great local tacos here for you. Let's get back into it. We have Corey and Skylar here from Stay Naked Kitchen, and Aaron got my co-host, a widely acclaimed tech nerd in Tucson and involved in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Aaron, I want to turn it over to you. Let's dig into what it means to be high growth, a unicorn. Mm-hmm. What kind of tech enterprises are we talking about? And then let's talk about the growth trajectory for Stay Naked Kitchen here in Tucson.
So this was the term unicorn was coined a while back from Eileen Lee, I believe, VC with Cowboy Ventures, and it's basically a company that's valued at over $1 billion. And it's to help people understand that it doesn't necessarily mean that they've $1 billion in revenue. It means that they've been valued at some point over $1 billion. And then really it's kind of an arbitrary term, but it just means a very highly scalable company. Somebody that could do some really big things, an international player in what they do. But to kind of lead that into the group that we're talking to today, if we could, Skylar, Corey, if we could kind of take it back a little bit and have you guys kind of walk us through what Stay Naked is. So I know we've been through this quite a bit, but do one of you want to jump in and give us your elevator pitch?
Yeah, I think I'll take this one.
All right, Corey.
It's a little rusty since the founder days, but
Since you've succeeded so well.
So Stay Naked Kitchen is a fast service meal prep company. We are specifically grab and go. All of our meals come served cold and eco-friendly trays. You don't got to worry about that thick plastic. All of our ingredients are either all natural or organic, and we specialize in customers coming in and picking up their meals for either the day or week.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Sounds wonderful, convenient, delicious, healthy. Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah,
it is.
And I'm curious to get Skylar's thoughts on, Aaron has worked with you guys extensively through the Institute. What about your business and how it's set up is set up for scale? Why did he pick you guys for our first show today as a high growth unicorn potential startup? What's your trajectory looking like?
Well, I mean, this is it. We've come a long way since the Founders Institute. I remember me and Corey sitting like in an empty storefront going, if we could only sell, 500 meals a month, we'd be all right. And so we've quickly grown to about 2,000 meals a month. In the last 90 days, we've sold 15,000.
Jeez.
And, we're getting ready to open up our second storefront here in the next 90 days.
Here in Tucson.
Yeah, here in Tucson.
Crazy.
So I don't know. It's just at the rate that it's grown and the way we've done it with technology, I think we're unique in that aspect.
Tell me about the role that you call yourself a tech-enabled startup. You do this through an app.
Yeah.
How has using technology in a community like Tucson, where a lot of people don't think you could scale, to be honest, that big? Tucson is often underestimated in terms of opportunity.
Yeah.
How has technology helped you to achieve that scale here in this community?
So it's interesting too with our customers. There is a little resistance up front when we're like, come into our store, just use the kiosk. You don't have to talk to anybody. You have a lot of old school people that are kind of just like, they want to look at the refrigerators and kind of pick and choose. But then after we get them onto the kiosk where, they understand that they can come in and leave in less than 30 seconds and have exactly what they want. Now they just like walk into the store. They don't look at anybody. Like they're just like sticking their card in the machine and like getting their food and on their way. So it's been interesting to see that, and that's that has really helped us, just accessible food. Where I feel like we're even faster than fast food.
Yeah, the technology aspect, definitely gave us a leg up. So in terms of technology, we notice most restaurants, even other fast service meal prep companies, they don't. I mean, there is no other fast service meal prep company, but we definitely leverage the technology. So that means a CRM system, automated email campaigns. We don't have an app. The app kind of failed with our inventory stock, but the POS system we use has an online ordering store that ties into our kiosk, that ties into our inventory system. But realistically, the technology part is just. That's what I kind of geek out on too. That's kind of like my little thing that I'll stay up all night kind of researching stuff. But the Tucson, it's not that hard. It's not that difficult. I mean, week 3 we were selling 1,500 meals a week. It's just about the good product and a way to reach your customers, right? So for us, social media has been huge. But then also backing that up with the CRM system and automated email campaigns, like, hey, we miss you, here's 10% off, like to capture and retain that customer. And our marketing efforts, like, we haven't even marketed yet. This is all organic, natural growth by word of mouth, but
That's amazing.
but we've hit this kind of plateau where we knew we were going to hit organically. Like, hey, let's just try and capture as many people as possible by word of mouth organically, and then add a little fuel to the fire. And that's where, we're going to see a lot of cool technology with marketing. I don't want to give away too many of our secrets, but there's automated Facebook Messenger chat. There's funnels and what have you, and literally that most marketers, even in Tucson, don't even know about.
Yeah.
Like, I've had to go through a slew of people to like talk about this technology that exists.
Right.
And none of them are like, oh, well, we just kind of like blast social media. It's like, no, man, there's so much depth.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you that I couldn't agree with you more. We're going to talk in the next segment about launching in Tucson, what that experience has been like. We're going to talk about your Tucson experience.
Let's do it.
We have a minute left, and I'm going to go to Skylar on this one. In 10 years, venture capital company organization says, we want to give you a lot of money. Where are you going to be in 10 years? Give me your 45-second vision for 10 years from now.
10 years. I feel like in the next 3 years, we're really focusing on becoming a national company, breaking out of Arizona. We want, and then, from there expanding organically, so we're not going to be shipping meals, but just more of a, city, main city by main city, putting a kitchen, getting like our little satellite kiosks out there, and just being everywhere, anywhere, like omnipresence. Yeah, just like
Tucson founded.
Yeah.
Tucson born,
Headquarters.
Tucson run,
Headquarters
Tucson
right here.
headquarters
Mhm.
all over the country.
Yeah,
Gets me excited.
Yeah,
I
we
love it.
We want to emulate the Chipotle model. Brian Nichols came in and
Wow.
definitely, he did what he had to do. But they're a very tech-enabled company, and in three years, McDonald's picked them up, and they are where they
Crazy.
are.
We'll be back to talk more launching in Tucson with Stay Naked Kitchen. 10:30 The Voice. We'll be back in a minute. Tucson, welcome back to the 10:30 The Voice studio. You're listening to Tipping Point with Zach Yenser. We call the show that because we believe that Tucson's at a tipping point, that the decisions, what happens in the next 5 or 10 years will shape the city, our region, for the next 50. And this is a critical moment to be talking about people, ideas, and issues shaping our future. So that's what we do every day here, 9 to 10. Welcome back. We are debuting a brand new segment on the show called Tech and Tacos. If you've listened to the show for probably more than a week, you know that I like to say that Tucson's a town where we talk more about our tacos and trails than we do our tech and talent. And the cool thing is we have all four. We just don't talk about two of them. And so my goal with this segment is to start making the point that we need to be talking about the amazing people, ideas, and entrepreneurs who are quietly shaping our community under our feet and highlight the great work being done in our community. And so Tech and Tacos is a monthly conversation to talk to high growth tech or tech-enabled startups in Tucson that have unicorn and high-scale potential over some great local tacos. Because, yes, you can have it all. You just got to be intentional about it. That's what we believe here on Tipping Point. That's what we're doing. We have Corey and Skylar in studio from Stay Naked Kitchen. Over the last half an hour, I've become convinced that these guys have Chipotle-like potential. And are committed to headquartering here in Tucson and having national scale. I think these guys can do it. Thanks to my friend Aaron Gopp for curating today's conversation and also picking up the tacos. Not a small piece of the show, so thank you so much. It's great to be with you all in studio. What I've often wondered in Tucson is we say we're a health community, right? Great resorts, great outdoors, great trails, great outdoors. I've often wondered this. I kid you not. I've said it on the air, Corey and Skylar. Why does Tucson not birth the next great health-related startup? And my prayers have been answered, I think, with Corey and Skylar from Stay Naked Kitchen. Give us a little bit of your why again, how the technology piece fits into that. But what I really want to focus on this segment is how and why did you choose Tucson, and what are the pros and cons? A real naked, authentic conversation about Tucson. I'll let either of you guys start, but let's jump in.
Skylar, me? Oh, cool.
They're all pointing at each other. Someone's got to do it.
So honestly, Tucson's a hard market, and with with what we wanted to do is we wanted to race to prove a concept, right? We wanted to get in there, we want to prove a concept, and then we want to dump fuel on the fire. Tucson is a great it's a great economy for that. If you make it in Tucson, you can pretty much make it anywhere, right?
Yeah, we think that's New York. It's not. It's Tucson.
It's definitely Tucson.
Make it in Tucson.
Yeah.
You can probably also make it in New York.
Absolutely. So, you know, we're proving that concept, and it's going well. You know, in terms of our why, Skylar and I, you know, we sat down and we asked ourselves why 6, 7, 8, 10, 20, I think 20 times, and we finally got to it. And it's like, it's honestly, it took us a while, but once I saw it in the store, one of our customers came in. She said, you know, I lost my husband 2 years ago. I lost myself, and I found you guys, and I found myself again. I really think that I can find myself again. I can get into this. And I started crying. She started crying. I reached over. I gave her a hug, and like that was like that moment. You know, Skylar was right next to me. The whole store, like there was 6 customers in the store, and everyone just like it paused, and it was a beautiful moment. And that is our why. Like we're a technology, we're a food company, but we're more importantly a people company, right? And Skylar and I were very empathetic people, and you know, we had the opportunity to talk at SWAT Fitness for the Sisterhood of the Shrinking Pants. There was 200 women in there. All of them had their own desires, their own needs, their own wants for being there. But most importantly, after talking to all of them, it's their confidence. They want to look good in the mirror, and they want their husbands to look at them and have that desire again. And they see that in us. And for me to be able to provide that, and for Skylar to be able to provide that to our customers is I mean, beyond beautiful. That we provide a service that makes everybody's lives better, you know, and we can effectively scale it through technology. I mean, it can't get any better than that. I mean, that's why we work 18-hour days. Legitimately, Skylar and I, the last week, we've been working 18-hour days. That's our why. You guys, sitting right here, you're our why. Yeah.
Whether it's to improve performance, build confidence in the way someone looks or feels, save someone simply some time in a busy and hectic day. You're using technology on site to basically scale up the ability for someone to come in, pick the healthy and productive food they need at scale.
Absolutely.
And you can almost kind of imagine sort of a Chipotle type model, but for health and health related foods.
Absolutely.
Is that an easy way to kind of communicate what you do? How big is Chipotle, by the way, now?
Chipotle is a $7 billion. I geek out about Chipotle because we really want to emulate them. They're a $7 billion company, and they sell over 700 burritos a day, averaged out over every store. The build your own model has been phenomenal. They came in and they switched everything up. And Skylar and I now, we have a static menu where you just walk in and grab your meals. But now we're introducing a process where customers can walk in and build their meal prep on the spot, and we can either 1, seal it, or 2, warm it up for them and serve it hot. So there's nothing like that in the country right now, guys. And guess what? We're going to use technology to leverage that.
That's cool. And it's happening here.
Right here in Tucson.
Happening right here in Tucson. Corey, this is inspiring, but we want to dig in a little bit.
Cool.
Tucson seems to have treated you really well, but I think we know that it could treat you better.
Absolutely.
And not just you, but you as the face of tech and tech-enabled entrepreneurship in Tucson, in our region. Skylar, what's been the not so great part of launching a startup in Tucson?
Well, I feel generally.
So I'm going good cop, bad cop. I got the clear impression Corey was the hype man, and I'm with you. I want to know where the gaps are. Our listeners have a real desire to dig in. Let's dig in.
Let's do it.
Give me your stories.
So I feel like it's a slippery slope here in Tucson. You have a very health conscious community, but you also have a community that's very particular about how they spend their money. So if your product is off in any way, shape, or form, you're not going to make it here. So that's the way I feel like as far as the demographic goes. Really, on the other side, the small business side, I feel like it's not a very small business friendly community as far as like, you know, like just the city goes. The city makes it very hard to run a small business.
People talk about supporting it, but
yeah, well, locally.
So this is interesting, right? Because over the last 10 years, there's been a lot of talk about making that better.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered, is it just words, or has it gotten better
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me a couple of non-confidential details of maybe something or one or two things that were way harder than they had to be?
I mean, we just had our electricity for our new kitchen turned on. The deposits alone were $6,000.
$6,000. That's
$6,000 for the deposits.
$6,000. I
How's
mean,
a
you're
small
not
business?
Chipotle yet, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Help a brother.
And I even asked them, like, hey, do you have like a small business like discount or like just any sort of help to get us in here? And they're
Nothing.
like, nope, sorry. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like $6,000 to move into a little kitchen
before
space.
you start selling your
Before.
product.
And then it was another $600 fees to turn on. I know you're I know you're a business, an electric company, but throw us a bone here. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
Skylar, we got excited about that one, but
Yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt you. Can you keep going? I'm curious.
Keep going. I mean, that recently that was one of our biggest hurdles we had to overcome. You know, because we're trying to become a self-sufficient business operating in our own building. You know, so there was that one as far as the city goes. But locally, the community supports small business, and that's
Right.
great.
Right.
So
I think what Aaron and I have talked about quite a bit is the beauty and frustration of the fact that, and I'll go here and correct me, push back on me here. You've got a loving community on the surface
Mhm.
and a lack of supportive infrastructure underneath.
exactly.
Right. So you get this impression that it's open, it's friendly, will help you
Mhm.
out, but there's no steer under the hat.
Yeah.
You know, it's all what's that phrase? It's all cattle, no hat, something like that.
Mhm.
And if you got a great community but no supportive infrastructure on the nuts and bolts and the tactics to actually get something off the ground,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe 2 steps forward, 1 step back at the very
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Am I exaggerating?
No,
Do you
no,
feel like that?
You hit the nail on the head
Yeah.
right there with that one. You couldn't be more right. And me and Corey are finding that out the hard way for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We thought Tucson was going to be like a more like loving, embracing society. And they are, don't get me wrong. We have a lot of customers that come in and say, oh, I'm going with you guys because you're local. But that's just so few and far between. Aaron and I have had this conversation before. But everyone's like, shop local, shop local. Okay, why are you going to Kohl's? You know, nothing that you own is, I mean, really local. I mean, these tacos, you're right. If you went to Taco Bell, we'd be in some trouble.
Yeah, we'd all walk
Right.
out on Aaron Gopp. Yeah, but Aaron Gopp actually has a history of showcasing local things.
Oh, yeah.
That's another hat, another life that
He
Aaron
actually
has.
takes action and does it.
Aaron's the man. But
Yeah.
but yeah, you know, I once said to somebody on the air, I said, Tucson has such great community, and they said, really? Like, I want to press you on that. Like, there's this feeling of connected and supportive community, but
Mhm.
when you dig in and when you actually need something done, sometimes there's no, you know, it's
Yeah.
all hat, no cattle.
Absolutely.
I'm messing
Yeah.
that up. Call us 790-2040 and tell me what the right idiom is, because I feel like I'm messing that up, but y'all know what I mean. We're gonna go and anything else on that, Skylar, before we take a pause?
I mean, I feel like the only other thing that really comes to mind right now is that me and Corey like to move fast on things.
Oh my
and
God,
Tucson, he's gonna go on another rant. I can feel it.
But we have one more segment for that rant. So
yeah.
let's put a pin in that because I want to hear it.
Okay, it's just me and Corey like to move fast. You know, like the weekends around here, nobody does anything. If we need anything done in Tucson locally, like business to business, it takes about a week, 10 days, 14 days to get done, where, you know, we're ready to do it in the next 48 hours, you know, scheduling contractors out to do something, just anything really. Like, it's interesting I feel like it's almost like we're on like mountain time, like when you go camping and you can, you know, you have all the time in the world. I feel like Tucson kind of has that vibe to it, you know, and it's hard for a business that wants to move really fast,
Right,
you know.
right.
So
I think we've scratched the surface on this. I want to put a bow on it when we come back from our final break and talk about what's next. What do you need from the community? And I especially want to talk about from the entrepreneurship ecosystem. If you had a magic wand and could tell the whole environment, hey, for the next Stay Naked Kitchen down the road, here's what they need. Here's what we're still missing in the community. And then any advice that you would give to our Tucson community for being a place where big ideas can happen, right?
Yeah.
It can happen at scale. It can happen quickly. That's where we're going to go when we come back from our final break of the hour. This is our debut show. of tech and tacos. You can see us talking and chowing down on some great local tacos by going to our YouTube feed, search 1030 The Voice, and watch us live. We'll be back with Corey and Skylar from Stay Naked Kitchen and my co-host today, Aaron Gopp, in just a minute. Don't go anywhere, Tucson. Tucson, welcome on back in. This final segment of our hour is sponsored in part by Edmund Marquez Insurance. As an Allstate agent for the last 23 years, Edmund has grown his agency to become the largest captive insurance agency in southern Arizona and the second largest Hispanic-owned Allstate agency in the U.S. His passion is helping Tucsonans create their best possible future, and he backs that up by serving on many of the boards and organizations involved in Tucson. He brings the same commitment to helping Tucson residents protect their home, personal property, and financial future. Stop by one of his 3 locations in Tucson to get to know Edmund and how he can help you and your family. 520-297-1296 is the number you can call to find a location closest to you. Back to it as we wrap up this hour. We are debuting our first monthly our new segment, first time here, but it'll be a monthly one called Tech and Tacos, where we talk about our tech and talent while we celebrate our tacos and trails. We talk tech over tacos every month here, and we talk with high growth, unicorn potential tech or tech-enabled startups that are right here under our nose in Tucson. I'm going to ping over to my co-host Aaron Gopp, co-founder of Founder Institute, the Tucson chapter of it, that helps high-growth founders get the tools they need to grow here in Tucson. Before we get to the story we queued up at the break, give us your view of what it means to be a rapid growth idea in a town that is kind of features a slower pace.
Yeah,
I like how I said that. I'm gonna write that down.
You should record that. It's kind of take off of what Skylar was saying though, where things feel kind of slow, and Corey and I have specifically had this conversation where especially to a high growth founder, things feel like they're in slow motion. They can't be fast enough. That's why an 18-hour day is normal, for somebody like Corey and Skylar, because they're just constantly pushing. Well, in this environment, we were looking for that, and it really is a mindset. And that was one of the reasons for the introduction of the Founder Institute, which was bring that high growth, fast paced Silicon Valley style model into a community that traditionally is more laid back. And there's and that's kind of the benefit of Tucson is that laid back style is very accepting, it's very go with the flow, it's very comfortable, it's very friendly. But then when you need to flip the switch and get things done, a lot of times you'll feel that resistance, not intentionally, but just part of kind of the community. And, every culture has its own way of acting and interacting. And, our way is very relaxed. And there's a lot of tension then, which of course is part of the reason for Founder Institute, part of the reason for the things that I do, and part of the reason for this show is to really expand that mindset and bring out that subculture here in Tucson, those people that really are hustling and accelerating.
Corey, we are T-minus 5 minutes now on this conversation that felt long when we said we had an hour to go, and now that we're at the end, it just flew by. You have Chipotle level potential.
Absolutely.
You are a headquartered in Tucson company, massive growth already, with plans over the next couple of years to scale nationwide. And you're right here, Stay Naked Kitchen, Corey and Skylar. You share in some of that tension that Aaron just mentioned. What have you felt, and what do you and others like you need out of this community of Tucson, right? What puts the cattle under the hat to move fast and move well to help your big ideas happen?
For the community of Tucson, it's just take a risk, take a chance. We talk about our concept, and it's so new and so fresh. Some people get it, the market that we go for. Some people get it. Most people, it takes a little second, and they're very apprehensive. A lot of people in our community are kind of set in their ways, and they're not really open to new ideas. And this is just my viewpoint and my opinion, but I notice a lot of people that we come across, it's just really hard for them to grasp the concept or even take that leap. But once they do, the messages, I wish I could show you guys all the messages on Instagram and Facebook. People are like, wow, I'm so glad I decided to take the jump. We just had one this morning. And I'm like, I told you, man, the breakfast is awesome, right? So that's that's what we're fighting at this point.
Right. Anything that so you've been a part of Founder Institute. They've been incredibly supportive of your massive growth already since you went through the program. Is there anything else in what we call the ecosystem, right? The overall environment, whether it's mentorship, training, money, venture capital, anything, any massive gaps or holes as we close here that you think need to be plugged so the next Stay Naked Kitchen has an easier, better time?
Here in the community
here in Tucson.
Honestly, we've done what we've done without venture capitalism. Mentorship has been huge for me and Skylar. As far as like growth goes, exponentially have we grown over this last year. And one thing, you know, that other entrepreneurs in this community need to realize is they need to move at lightning speed. They need to be resilient because they're going to hit speed bumps, and they really need to build their business on 3 things. That's scalability, automation, and replication. You cannot scale if your systems fall to either one of those. So that's kind of like my advice to the entrepreneurs here. Don't worry about getting money. Prove a concept first. Go in there, build your systems, get product market fit, and then go get funding. But first and foremost, find a mentor in this city, in this town. You have plenty of people that are willing to do that for you.
Right.
Find a mentor and get working, get moving, and drink plenty of coffee.
Hey, that's good. I like that advice. And I will agree with the mentorship piece. I think it's one of the assets in our community that we don't talk about as much. Skylar, about a minute. Any closing words on that?
Yeah, I mean, kind of just go off what he was saying. The mentorship's huge, but I feel like it is more of a mindset thing, you know, in the community. Like, if there could be something to help the next Stay Naked Kitchen, it'd be like having that mindset where you're just a compound interest on like effort, like compounding effort, where you're putting so much pressure on like a piece of coal that it turns into a diamond kind of thing, you know, like that's what it takes to become, you know, the high value startup.
The next Stay Naked Kitchen.
the next.
Well, it's
there's
hard,
only one.
There's only one.
The next kind of.
Yeah. It's hard in a community that moves slow. It really is.
It's a balance. It's a balance for sure. You guys have chosen Tucson to be your headquarters on purpose. There's no plans to change that. We could be looking at the one of the next big health and health tech startups in the country, maybe even the world, right here in Tucson. I don't think that's too big to say. Thank you for sticking it out. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It's a balance. For all the good things we have going, there are some challenges. There's some small business challenges. There's some entrepreneurial challenges. And I think anything we can do on this program to help shed a light on what we can do to better wrap around your work and to support you will make that next generation easier. That's what we're trying to do here on Tech and Tacos here on Tipping Point, our monthly show where we talk about the high growth tech and tech-enabled startups in our community. Thanks to my co-host Aaron Gopp, co-founder of the Founder Institute in Tucson, Corey and Skylar, Stay Naked Kitchen. Thanks for the tacos. We've had a great time.
Thanks,
Tucson.
guys. Appreciate you.
We will see you at 9 on Thursday. Thanks for listening and talk soon.